quality ideas, discussions, and opinions. This is The Issue on YourTV. I'm Mark Carr, and today we'll be talking about everything produce. But first, City and Regional Councillor for Ward 6 and my good friend, Angelo Bentivegna. Angelo, how was your summer?
Actually, summer was excellent, Mark. It's amazing how quickly time flies with good weather, and it was great that we get to see some of our families in person recently. So that's been a big plus. And I'm assuming your summer was also great.
Very, very good. And as a matter of fact, I am heading down to Newfoundland, so we're going to have one show from the Rock. So I'll be able to, with Zoom, still be able to host the program for everybody. But you chose today two individuals who represent companies that are world-renowned. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you introduce our guests.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very, very excited for tonight's show. We not only have two great guests, these are actually two good friends of mine as well. And I've known both families for 30 plus years, and it's just great to see success in our region, in our city, and as in our country. And we're going to talk about produce, and specifically produce generally, but specifically with potatoes and Brussels sprouts, your favorite, Mark, which we'll get into later on. But
let's not go there, Angelo.
I want to start with introducing Jessica Hughes, who has joined her family business called Earth Fresh Foods, and they are located here in Burlington, and they've been around for 50 plus years. Actually, both companies have been around for many, many, many years. Jessica comes with education of she's got honors and a Bachelor of Business Administration, and has been involved in different formats and different areas of her company, from logistics to national accounts. And presently she's the innovation director. And again, here we are with new titles that you and I as old guys don't, relate to as much. But this is sort of the new trends in business. And in this case, I'm curious to find out what these are later on in the show in terms of innovation. So Jessica, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's great to see you. I know your dad was going to come on, but he's camera shy and says, no, I got a better person to come on for you. So welcome to the show tonight, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And our second guest is Joel Ippolito. And Joel, again, I've known for many, many years, is the CEO and owner of Ippolito Fruit and Produce. And Joe started with the company. He joined the company in 1974. I think I was still in high school then, Joe. And he's certainly been around in the company. He's grown the company since he's taken over as CEO and owner. He is also runs a fleet of transport trucks, Ippolito Transportation. He has Queen Victoria Farms, and has Ippolito Produce in the food terminal building as well. Now, both companies, I must say, have been renowned and won awards globally. Pretty well almost the same type of awards with the same different companies. The Canadian Produce Marketing Association Awards, very prestigious awards. Both have won for fresh health and global leadership situation. And both have been winners and award winners of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce. So it's great to to have some notoriety in our own city. So we'll get on with the show and some questions to start off right away.
Yes,
So,
yes, please, Angelo. I know our audience is sitting on the edge of their seats wanting to get to the questions, so fire away.
yeah. So I'll start with Jessica first, and we'll start off with Jessica. How did your family get started? And Joel, you can think about the answer too, because I'm going to ask you the same question. So how do you decide 50 years ago, how did your grandfather decide 50 years ago that, geez, you know what, I want to get in the potato business and then bring this forward to today. So take it away.
Okay, so my grandfather, Tom Hughes Sr., started the business in 1963. Before this, he was working for Bell Canada. He was climbing the telephone poles and he had a bad fall. So he looked in the paper and he was looking for a job ad and he found one at a produce company. And recently had taken a business course so he could type. So they were looking for like a secretary to just come and do some typing for them. And so he ended up joining the produce company, working there for 2 years. And he got into sales really quickly when he joined the company. Then he asked for a raise and they wouldn't give him a raise. So he wasn't making enough money. And him and another gentleman who worked there named Dave McKay decided to go out on their own. So they got a small one-room office in the Ontario Food Terminal and they named their company McKay & Hughes. So they started by just simply brokering potatoes. They would buy potatoes from PEI and ship them in 100-pound sacks across Canada over rail and sell them in the Toronto market. So they did that for about 10 years and then they started to, grow and they needed to buy a warehouse. So they bought one on Brown's Line in Etobicoke, where we were located until we moved to Burlington. So they had the warehouse, they would store potatoes. They put in a packing line so they could repack potatoes if there was any damaged potatoes that needed to be repacked. They started doing more distribution to different customers. So they slowly grew the business over, 40 years. And then, well, maybe 30 years. And then my grandfather's partner, Dave McKay, fell ill with diabetes. So they decided to sell the business. So my grandfather still and my dad was still a part of the business over the years, but it changed ownership in different hands for a while. And then in 2009, it came back into our family. We renamed it, well, one of the owners renamed it Earthfresh over the years to kind of get away from that brokerage feel because we were doing a lot more repacking, growing. We were getting into different areas of the potato business as a whole. So yeah, we moved to Burlington in 2014 and started packing here in 2015, and we haven't looked back at our old facility. I don't think I've even driven past it, but we're excited to be here now. So
That's great. That's great. And thank you very much. Yeah, we'll get more into the move later on in the show. So Joel, same question. You are second generation, you got a third generation in the works somewhere. How did we get from and I might as well get to the other, from spinach, Queen Victoria brand, to Brussels sprouts today?
Well, Angelo, interestingly enough, my grandparents started our business back in the 30s, basically at the Guelph and the Hamilton Farmers Market. So for us, we were incorporated with Queen Victoria label 1946. So during the war years, my grandmother was packaging spinach and on the markets, and she would put it under the Queen Victoria label because both my Sicilian grandparents, Carmelo and Mary, did not get their citizenships till 1947. So that's why we ended up with the Queen Victoria label. So right now, my father took over in the 50s. I took over, I started in the 74, but I took over on my father's demise back in 1996. And now I have my three boys. They've been with us now in the fourth generation for almost 18 years now. So that's kind of, and Brussels sprouts is, that started when I 2000, I went out to California and I started a small brokerage out in California with 2 people in an office, and it's now moved forward, and we have better than 1,500 people in the California division. We farm over 20,000 acres in California, Arizona, and Mexico now. Queen Victoria Farms, Ippolito International is the sales arm. Queen Victoria Farms is the growing arm, and that's how we've moved from the 30s to now, and we just celebrated this September our 75th year in business here in the Hamilton Burlington area.
Now, Jessica, you started off not as the innovation director of the company. Where did you start? And do you think it was a good move for you to grow through the company, grow your career through the company?
Definitely, yes. I started off in logistics. There was an opening right when I graduated university. There was an opening for someone to take over one of the senior roles in logistics, but I had no logistics background. So I started off as a coordinator and shadowed him for a year and a half, and eventually took over the director role. And we grew as we were growing, I would learn more and more about everything that was moving in the business, because in logistics, you see all parts of the business. So that was really, I think, a great spot for me to start. And then eventually moving into sales, I got a few of my own accounts. So I got to learn about, the buying and selling side of things. I did a little bit of potato buying, but not a lot. And I did that for a couple of years too. So I definitely think, and I also did a lot of promotional work when I was in university and high school. I would work trade shows and help out with odd jobs around the office. So I really got to see kind of a little bit of everything. So now that I'm in my new role, I kind of understand the inner workings of the company, and I think it was smart to do that.
And Joel, usually, or quite often, I should say, second and third generations take the business down instead of growing the business. So what are you doing with your 3 boys? Where are they starting off in the business?
Well, the oldest one, Aaron, started with me when he was 18, and I put him on nights for 2 years to try to get him to go back to school. It didn't work. So he's now upwards, he's 37 now, so he would be almost 19 years with the company now, and he manages the warehousing. So that's his forte. My middle son, Jake, he came into the company, and he's in the logistics side. So he's been with us now since he finished college. So he's been with us now 14 years. And then the youngest son, Joe, went to University of Guelph. He was the one who stayed in school. So he got his graduation from Guelph, and I sent him to California for a couple years to learn that side of the business. And he's now come back to Hamilton, Burlington, and he's got his MBA, and he's in sales. So and he's been with us now 12 years.
Good. Angelo, go ahead.
That's great. Thank you very much. That was great. So I do want to ask, longevity in business. There are no secrets, or maybe there are secrets in how you get from the beginning, starting up a business, to where we are today, 50 and 75 plus years. And so, Jessica, can you give us a little bit of history? And I happen to know when you moved, for example, from Etobicoke to Burlington, there's certain things you did with your staff when they moved. You took them with you and so on and so forth. Can we talk about our staff, your staff, and how important they are to grow your business?
Yeah, definitely. Our staff, we have a great team, and we treat our staff almost like family. So it's all about, keeping morale high. And when we moved, it was a huge decision for us to do that, because a lot of our staff lived in Etobicoke, or even as far as Barrie or, Ajax, wherever they were located. So When we made the move, we did everything we could to keep all of our employees. We, bonused and gave raises and helped people find places to live in Burlington if they decided to move, which a lot of our staff ended up moving their families to Burlington, and are very happy about the moves. And we also set up for our warehousing staff a van. So anyone who took public transport in Etobicoke we had like a meeting spot. We have a van that picks them up and then brings them back at the end of their shift. And we still do that to this day. We've been in Burlington for 6 years now, 6 years, almost 5 years. And we still have the van running. So we didn't lose any employees in our move. We had only one woman decide to retire. And so we were really fortunate that we brought our whole team with us. So, and it was really important for us. And everyone was excited. They loved the community. Yeah, we were lucky.
Thank you for that. And actually, I've heard that situation from a number of people who you've given tours to, business people. And so that's great news, and nice for the public to know how staff is so important for any business. Joel, same question. You went from, you moved from Hamilton to Burlington in one location I guess Howard, I can't remember the street, Howard Street, and you grew it from there. And then you decided to really take the plunge and go on to the North Service Road, where you can see your building from Niagara Falls almost. So can you tell us about your staffing, how you kept it, the truck drivers, the farmers, all that. Talk about your staff.
Well, for us, very similar to what Jessica said, that when we moved out to from Hamilton to Burlington, when I chose the site in Burlington, it was, one of those where I looked at, it was only 10 kilometers, but also I was concerned that a lot of the people that took public transport or even walked to work where we were in Hamilton would not follow us to Burlington. So, we made sure that the busing was right, the carpooling, and we did a lot of things to try to mitigate. So for us, we were very conscious of it. And so fortunately for us, we didn't lose anybody. Everybody came. We made sure that it worked. And so that's, and as far as where we were in Burlington, we were at the Howard Road, exit there here at the highway. So it actually worked out even better than it was in Hamilton.
Great, thank you very much. Mark?
I know one aspect that and Angelo and I had talked about it in the lead up to today's show, but I'd like to hear from you, Jessica, about your community involvement. Now, you've been here 5-6 years in the city of Burlington, but how do you engage the community with your activities?
Well, we definitely are involved in a few different food side of things. We donate to the Daily Food Bank. We supply a lot of product there, and a few other food banks. We are involved with the Halton Food for Thought, the kids programs. We also donate, and we've been involved with the Joseph Brandt Foundation, the Performing Arts Center, the Carpenter Hospice. So we've also been, we have a team that was put together here for the last 10 years, and they've been doing the Right to Conquer Cancer as a team through EarthFresh. So supporting the Princess Margaret Foundation. So we like to, stay involved. Of course, with COVID, it's been a little bit different the last couple of years, but yeah, that's how we keep involved.
And Joel, from your perspective, what have you been involved with in the community? Because I know both companies are very involved in the community and give an awful lot of their time and and their product to the various charities in town.
Yeah, actually, I could go over it all again, but we're very close to what Jessica just said. You know, we're involved with the Joseph Brant Hospital, the food banks, and what have you. And so, I mean, it's you know, I look at the Burlington community. It's a you know, it's a small space where we all seem to get involved in same charitable aspects.
Why is it important to you, Joel, to be involved in the community? I mean, you're doing business worldwide. So why is it important to be involved in the community like you are?
Well, you know, it's kind of giving back, for me, it's interesting. My grandparents had a grocery store down on Plains Road, right near King Road, called Long Acres Grosseteria. And I remember from an early age, I lived right around the corner there on Inverness Avenue, and going to the grocery store. Like the community was very small at the time, and it was for us, it was you got to know everybody, and so for us now, we've done well over the years, and so it's just what we do.
I got a quick funny story before I get to my next question with Ippolito. As you know, I'm involved in a not-for-profit gift and giving back. I might as well mention it. And we filled up 3 gyms. We do the largest food drive in the country. We filled up 3 huge gyms at M.M. Robinson. And now we had to move the food out of there and into these different partners who are recipients, the food bank, Carpenter Hospice, and so on and so forth. We had a truck that didn't show up, and school was out at 3 o'clock, obviously, high school. I called Joel, and because he's got transport trucks, and he answered the phone on his way somewhere worldwide, I don't know. And I said, Joel, I need some help. I need a truck. I need a tractor trailer. I need a driver. I got to move some food. And sure enough, within, I don't know, it had to be like within a half an hour. He gave me a name here. Go call this guy. He'll take care of you. Came, loaded up, gone. So there's the kind of situation that the Ippolito went through. So anyways, I'll ask my quick questions here. Jessica, I want to talk about food now. I want to talk about potatoes. You're in the innovation sector of the company. You're director of innovation. What does that mean? What are things like intellectual property rights and nuisance breeding and seed? I'm thinking animals, breeding. I'm going, what the heck's all this stuff? Talk to us about that.
We could be here for a long time if I get into all the details, but we're vertically integrated in our business now. So we are very heavily involved with bringing different potato varieties. There's actually thousands around the world. And we bring the seeds. We're partnered in a facility in Idaho. So we have greenhouses there where we grow the varieties and hopefully bring them to commercial growing, so that they taste good, that they're disease resistant, they yield well. So what we do with that is we take those varieties and then we send them to growers across Canada and the United States. They grow the varieties for us, and then we buy them back and just pack and distribute them. So what my dad is focused on, like huge focus on in the business, is finding the best varieties. That has been, the innovation for us over the last 10 years. Now we have a few that are at commercial level. You'll see them in the stores. But now it's moving forward and looking ahead. And we're always looking for, making potatoes sexy, if you want to call it, but which is difficult. But it's the value added side of things we're looking forward at. The compostable packaging, recyclable packaging, sustainability, making sure that, we're doing our part for the environment. So innovation falls into a lot of different categories. It's coming up with new ideas for products, healthier ideas, organics, just the specialty items that we can, offer the customers.
That's great. Thank you, Jessica. And Joel, we got about 2.5 minutes to go. Let's talk a little bit about Brussels sprouts. Let's talk about You know, where your company's going in the future, and talk to us about your product.
Well, spinach has always been an important part of our organization, but as we've moved forward over the last 15, 20 years, Brussels sprouts have become our largest calling card, as we say. We're probably the largest grower of Brussels sprouts in North America and potentially the world. We grow over 6,000 acres of Brussels sprouts. I don't know who eats them, but it's fun.
Well, I can tell you it's not me. But spinach I do love, so and potatoes.
So Brussels sprouts got us our start in California to from a couple hundred acres up to the 6,000-7,000 acres that we grow now. Sometimes I don't even know, all of a sudden we tried different areas and it works, and it doesn't work. So I mean, that's why we're in Arizona, Mexico, California. So for us, it's just helped us reach out to all the chains. We sell all over North America, down into the Caribbean. We do sell over to Hawaii, Hong Kong, Japan. So it's been an interesting last 20 years.
Thanks for that. And Mark, by the way, you have to cook them well. You got to be a good cook to enjoy these potatoes and its Brussels sprouts. Unfortunately, you're not. That's why you're not enjoying them.
Well, I'll take your word for it, Angelo, because you are a great cook, and I am not. I'll tell you that right off the bat. But Jessica and Joel, I want to thank you both for joining us today to talk about your companies how they get involved in the community and the rest of the world. So thank you very much. And of course, I want to thank Angelo Bentivegna, Ward 6 Councillor, City and Region, for being my co-host today. You can watch The Issue Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock with repeats throughout the week. And you can join us next week on The Issue here on YourTV, truly local. Good night.